Ladies, gentlemen, and expeditioners of some ages, Clair Obscur Expedition 33 has an unbelievable amount of optional, hidden, or secret stuff that you could easily miss if you just beeline it right down the main paths. Some of which is just fun flavor stuff, some of it is genuinely super useful for gaining player power, and today we're going to be focusing on the sort of midsection of Act 2, specifically Monoco's station, into Old Lumiere, and then through to all of the exploration that opens up surrounding and after those two main story zones as well. Generally speaking, I'll be focusing on pointing out either optional bosses or interesting fights that have good rewards, special cosmetics, or just places where you can find particularly strong Pictos or weapons just laying around on the floor. First up then, before we head into Monoco's station, there are a couple of things that I want to round back for. First, in a significantly higher level area than you probably are before Act 3, I've realized you can get to and sneak out without combat, which is for the Medias Res Pictos. This is a level 23 Pictos, which means that it has incredibly solid stat rates on it compared to anything else you'll have at this point in the game. It has a ton of defense, it has 13% bonus crit rate on top of that too, but as if that wasn't enough, the effect is +3 shields on battle start, but half maximum health. This may sound like a detriment, but in a lot of tougher fights in the game, one hit is all it will take to kill you, and each shield can be protection from a hit that would otherwise be capable of one-shotting you. As well, this works excellently with low health builds, as there are setups where you will do more damage or get other synergies just from having low health, and if your maximum health is halved, that doesn't really matter if you're already trying to run on 1 health anyways. That said, the place this comes from is the Dark Shores location in the open world. It is at the very south side of the watery areas on the continent, and you can get here from the start of Act 2, but the enemies are insanely tough here, and I don't recommend properly fighting them until Act 3, really. So what's up with the Pictos then? Why are we going there right now? Well, from the expedition flag at this location, we simply run forwards past the first group of enemies, and then the second group up here is right beside the Pictos, which is on the floor. If you run right through the middle of these two enemies, you can pick up the Pictos, and then if you run around the left, you can escape them without engaging in combat. You are faster than them if you sprint, and you don't bump into them, obviously, so you can just essentially yoink this thing right out from under them, and then go about your business with a significantly stronger Pictos than you are supposed to have at this part of the game. Next up, right outside of the entrance to the coastal cave out in the open world of the continent, there is an optional boss that we skipped last time, as I believed it was just super high level and high health pool, but the trick to this guy is while you can just get to Act 3, unlock the damage cap, and one-shot him, he also will just self-destruct if you survive 15 turns against him, which, to be clear, requires a ton of either dodging or parrying his bounces, because he bounces more and more times each time he attacks, and he will do a total of like 152 bounces before he blows himself up at the end of the fight. You can get the healing parry Pictos from the stone quarry nearby super easily, and this gives you health regenerated every time you successfully parry. This won't stop you from losing if your parry rate is super low against this guy, but it will help make up for some occasional mistakes if you are parrying most of the time. Defeat him and you will get the level 15 warming up Pictos, health and crit rate as the included stats, and it drops with pretty good stats for the point you can get it, and the Lumina effect on this is plus 5% damage per turn, up to 25% damage bonus total, which is really quite solid. As well, this is the only one of these enemies, as far as I'm aware, that you can find before Act 3, so it doesn't respawn either, and it gives a really solid skill for Monoco if you defeat it with Monoco in the party. So I'd recommend having Monoco in your active party when you take out this optional boss to get the full benefit. That covered, let's head to Monoco's station. This is a relatively small and short location with one main optional thing of note, which is the Grandis Fashionist. And this is the Grandis in the station who is wearing an absolutely massive beret, and I love him. You can talk to him after beating the boss of the area, and the simplest way to explain this activity is he wants your female party members to write poetry with him. Yes, I know what I just said, it's accurate. Each of Lune, Maelle, and Sciel can get an outfit from this. You just need to swap to them as your free roam character, then speak to this NPC. Choose the correct answers when he asks you to continue his poetry, and I could go through the whole list of which answers are correct, but funnily enough, there is an easy pattern that holds the whole way through, which is the longest answer is always the correct answer. So go for the longest answer with all 3 of these characters, and you will get 3 correct answers per character, which gives you their pure outfit Do it once on each, and you will get this outfit for each of those 3 members of your party. Once you finish Monoco's station, there is the main path out that the game shows you, but there is also a secondary exit from this area if you follow the tracks all the way through to the northeast. There are 2 full zones that you can get through here. Both are optional. One is much bigger than the other. The smaller of the 2 is the Carousel. This is a very small zone with only one objective, which is to talk to the Grandis here, who wants you to free the Carousel in the middle of the area. You can only do that if you have the Paint Break ability, which you get for returning 4 of the lost Gestrals back to your camp. You can get 4 lost Gestrals before Monoco Station, so this is completable at this stage. Break the ice that is holding the Carousel still, and it will start to turn, and it will start to run like normal. Talk to the Grandis again, and he will give you a new hairstyle for Maelle, which is the French Robert, or the French Bob. The other optional area out of this side of Monoco Station is Frozen Hearts. This is another significantly higher level zone than you will be at this point in the game, with some really tough enemies if you were to fight them before Act 3. But once again, there are a couple of things that you can do in here with some quick feet and some quick hands if you want to, without combat. Run through the opening area to the next expedition flag up on the main path, which is called Glacial Falls. From this flag, there are a couple of cool things that you can grab. First, turn backwards and head towards the staircase here in the rear. Go up and follow along the path, and you can drop into this pit here with a group of unpainted Danseuse. Talk to them, and she will ask to dance with you, which means that she wants to fight, but more specifically, she wants to hit you 15 times in a row and have you successfully counterattack at the end. This means that you have to parry her, not dodge, parry correctly 15 hits in a row. It is essentially 5 repetitions of the same 3-hit combo, so it's not really that hard to complete, honestly, and if you succeed it, then you can get the absolutely incredible Danseuse outfit for Lune, which is way more ridiculously over-the-top cool looking than any other outfit that you can get this early, because you're not supposed to be able to get it early. Back to the Glacial Falls flag then, head up the slope again to the rear, round up it, and then you can jump off onto a fallen bell for the Burning Break Pictos, which is level 21 when you pick it up. Again, significantly better than anything that you will have at this point as far as the raw stats. 1500 bonus health, 24% bonus crit rate, which is nuts, and then the effect is that you apply 3 burn stacks when you break a target. Progress further through the level and you will find a climbing path up a cliffside with 2 ways forward. Up is for progress, right is optional. Head right and then drop down through the ropes to land on top of a train, where you will find the Burn Affinity Pictos waiting freely to be picked up. This one is also level 21, where you find it, 439 speed, which is quite a bit of speed, 12% crit rate, which is nice, and this one gives you 25% bonus damage against burning targets, which is an extremely powerful effect that is really easy to activate. And again, we are doing this with no combat required to get it, but if you were to then follow this train into the cave, you would find another optional boss, just one that I recommend maybe waiting to do until you are a bit more powerful than I am here. Last thing in this area without combat then, moving on to the Iced Heart Expedition flag, which is just further along the main path of the zone, which you can still get to without any combat, and as you progress forwards from here, you'll be climbing up some trains, grappling up them, running up them, moving along, and there is a spot right here where it forks, and you can either continue to go up, or you can go down a little bit and off to the side. Over to the side is a merchant who sells a Danseuse outfit for Sciel and the Pelerin outfit for Verso, both of which are absolutely sick for those characters, but also they are quite expensive from the merchant, as this is a later game area. Then of course, finally, if you were to progress to the very end of this area, there is an optional boss, because this is an optional area as a whole, and this is a very unique and cool boss, and this boss does drop a Pictos and a weapon if you can defeat it, and it gives you a quest item to bring to the merchant in Monoco Station. But I would wait to do the boss until Act 3 because of its just ridiculous stats. I just wanted to bring you through here for the other stuff that you can get without any combat. That said, moving to the other side of the open world area opened up here, the one outside the western exit of Monoco Station, right around to the west is a new Gestral beach area. Inside of this optional zone is a parkour minigame called Gestral Ascension. Make it to the top through some parkour and get the incredibly silly but also fantastic swimsuit outfit for Monoco, who gets to wear a Speedo that accentuates his lovely wooden butt crack. Just to the west of this beach, then back up on the shoreline, you can find one of the open world Burgeon open bosses, and this one drops the Burning Death Pictos. This gives you speed and crit rate for having it equipped, and the Lumina effect applies 3 burn to all enemies on death, which is specifically synergy for a last stand setup where you auto-kill off some of your own party members purposefully at the start of combat, trigger a bunch of on-death effects, like this burn application, and then the remaining member of the party that stays alive gets all the benefits of fighting solo. And right behind this Burgeon is another Pictos called Breaking Burn, which drops at level 15 with speed and some crit rate, and the Lumina effect is increased break damage against burning enemies. With that covered then, let's move on to Old Lumiere, the main story progress zone for this little area. In here, right from the first expedition flag, it is actually right beside a merchant. He sells some solid Pictos like Longer Powerful and Healing Counter, which are both good, and if you beat him in a fight, you can unlock the level 10 Algueron weapon for purchase as well for Sciel. This is an ice damage, vitality, and luck scaling weapon, and the effect boosts free aim and base attack focus setups, mostly making free aim able to consume Foretell for bonus damage, base attack able to apply Foretell, and at level 20 your free aim shots deal double damage during Twilight just in general. Then moving on from the right street expedition flag of this zone, you can move forwards and then check through this doorway on the right. Up on the roof, in behind it, in the background, you will find an orange glowing item. Pick it up to find Nusaro, a new weapon for Monoco. This drops at level 10, it scales with vitality and agility, and the effects are that it makes parries progress the bestial wheel, with damage intake resetting it. It makes upgraded skills do 30% bonus damage, and at level 20 you get +1 AP when you change your mask. And it is in fact just a frying pan dangling from a stick, which I'd feel the need to mention that too. Next up, we are going from the Manor Gardens expedition flag. This one is right before a big important story moment that is very attention calling and demanding, which makes it quite easy to miss other things in this area, because there is actually a whole other optional section if you follow the cliff line around, rather than just going to the big obvious area beside the flag. If you follow this along, you will see a paint cage lock on the wall that's above you, then there will be another paint cage lock as you are pushing forwards, then you will see the paint cage itself, and if you walk up to it, you can see the final lock in the distance. Shoot it from here to open the cage, which actually has a new weapon for you to pick up, a level 10 Redalim for Lune. This is an ice element weapon that scales with defense and agility, and the abilities make it generate an additional light stain when using healing skills. It generates an ice stain at the beginning of each turn, and at level 20 it lets you get a bonus turn if you spend stains on a healing skill, which is a pretty tasty basis for a support build if you do want to run a character as a proper support within your party. As well, if you then continue down this side path, it will bring you through some ropes, some climbing, some grappling. Just stay on the path all the way through to the end, and it will eventually lead you towards another bonus Pictos, the level 10 Healing Death. This has some speed and crit rate as the stats on it, and the effect is when you die, the rest of your expedition gets to go to full health. This one is very much just sort of okay, but it was on the path we were on anyways, so I thought I'd show you where it is. Now that you've finished with Old Lumiere, then as a zone, you will also have the ability for Esquier to now break through coral formations when swimming, which opens up more new areas, even in previous accessible parts of the map. So before we move on to the new stuff, back near the coastal cave, you can now swim over to this corner on the eastern side of the open world through the coral pathing, and here you will find the Chromatic Reaper Cultist boss on this little island, which is an optional boss version of one of the flying enemies that dodges most base attacks and skills, so I recommend focusing on free aim shots to take it down. When you do, you'll get the level 12 Blodam weapon drop for Verso. This gives you perfection based on missing health, synergizing super well with a low health build setup, like for the Pictos that we talked about at the start, as this means if you are 1 health, you are locked into being S rank perfection. And then the other bonuses are 20% increased light damage with skills, and then +1 AP on rank up as well. Moving now to the area that is directly at the backside of Old Lumiere, there is a larger red island forward and to the left right here, and on the western side of the island, you can find the Chromatic Moissonneure boss, which I probably heavily mispronounced. This guy is essentially super duper tanky, except for during the turn that you get a break on it, so focus on getting breaks, and if you reliably get the breaks, it's an easy enough fight at this stage with a decent build. The reward is the Moisson weapon for Sciel at level 17, which is incredible at this stage of the game if you can beat the fight. It has a bonus that converts all damage to dark damage during Twilight, and gives you increased dark damage with skills. At level 20, it also applies Shell to you during Moon, Powerful during Sun, and Rush during Twilight for an extra bonus. On this same island, if you go to it from the east side instead of the west side, and you walk around to sort of near the center, you can find a double Mime optional boss fight. This one works similar to the other Mime enemies that you can find in the game. They take basically no damage until you apply Break. Then they get really squishy afterwards, somewhat similar to the optional boss that we just talked about. Defeat the Mimes and you will get 2 hairstyles, being Voluminous for both Sciel and for Lune as well. Once you're done here, turn around to the southwest and swim Esquier over to the Falling Leaves optional zone, which is all the way on the west side of the continent map. This zone has some proper goodies inside of it. Defeat the enemies in the first sort of combat area and you will get yourself a level 14 Glasium sword for Maelle, which scales with defense and agility as stats. The abilities give 20% health healed on allies when you enter Virtuose stance, shell gained when switching out of Virtuose, and at level 20 you also cleanse all status effects when entering Virtuose stance. Now head down the path that is a left fork from the expedition flag itself. This will get you a grapple point that you can grapple to, and not long after that you will run into a merchant Gestral. By default he sells some of the sort of general type of stuff you'll get from the merchants, stuff like Chromatic, but then also a level 14 beneficial contamination Pictos, which is bonus defense and speed as the raw stats, and the Lumina effect is plus 2 AP on applying a status effect once per turn, which actually has a ton of synergy with stuff like free aim shot setups. Beat the merchant in combat as well, and you can then buy the Direton weapon for Sciel at level 14. Earth element damage, defense and agility scaling, and the abilities are plus 1 AP per moon charge on turn start. Base attack gives 1 moon charge, and then at level 20 during Twilight, base attack consumes all AP to apply 1 foretell and deal 50% increased damage per AP consumed. This has a lot of synergy potential in a base attack build for Sciel. Follow the path from here for some more grappling as well, then it will drop you down with an expedition journal right in front of you. Follow the path past the journal to find the Chromatic Ballet optional boss fight, which is a group of 3 flying enemies, each performing their own unique attack. So free aim shots are again going to be your friend to get through this boss. Defeat this boss and it will drop the level 14 Blizzon weapon for Sciel, which is ice element, high luck scaling. Then, while having at least 1 active moon charge, moon skills are always crits, but you take double damage. Then also 25% increased damage per moon charge, and at level 20, base attack also gives you 1 moon charge. Back to the expedition flag for this area then. From here you can go forward and to the right just a little bit to talk to the Fading Boy NPC, who makes a request of you. From here you want to head back around to the east of the flag and find a rope leading down and follow the path forwards from here. It will lead you to a giant lady made of sap hanging upside down from the ceiling, and yes, I know what I said, I'm still not wrong. Talk to her to progress the boy's quest, but then also there is a manor door entrance in this cave too, which you can then go through to get the expedition music record Alicia for your collection. After you have talked to the Lady of Sap back outside, head back to the Fading Boy NPC up top. He will then be able to open the door behind him, which you can follow through to its endpoint to reach the final boss of the optional area of Falling Leaves, the Scavenger. This is a very unique and interesting fight, and if you defeat this boss, you will get the Scaverim weapon for Lune at level 14. This is vitality and agility scaling, and then 50% chance to generate a dark stain when consuming any stain. 50% more damage with skills if you have an active dark stain, and then base attacks can consume a dark stain to deal 200% bonus damage. At level 20, with 4 active dark stains, any skill can consume them for a significant damage increase, which is another full playstyle option for Lune, unlocked just by finding this specific weapon. And that just about does it for today then, everyone. A whole bunch of missable optional stuff in the game, be it equipment, cosmetics, or bosses, that you can find and comfortably take on in the midsection of Act 2 in Clair Obscur Expedition 33. From running in like a scurrying little mouse to grab some really strong stat stick Pictos earlier than you should have them, to a full optional zone with unique boss at the end, I hope that you found something new about the game through this video to enhance your journey moving forwards. Like if you liked the video, subscribe to the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.